Hi there, welcome back for our continued study of chords up the neck. Today I want to take a look at Joni Mitchell's tune Big Yellow Taxi, one of my personal favorites. You'll see I have a lot of fun singing and playing this song. I'm going to play it in the key of C, so we're going to use our standard C, F, and G7 chords, right? But we're going to add in some inversions of those chords as well to give this three-chord song a little bit of a different feel. What I'm going to do is take that C chord and I'm going to move it up to the 7th and 8th fret. Basically, I'm going to take my G shape, what would usually be a G chord here, and move it up. So my index and my middle are on the 7th fret of C and A, respectively here, and my ring finger is on the 8th fret in between there on the E string. Sounds like that. I am using my high G here. I really like the sound of that inverted C chord with the high G. Everything stays up high, so it gives it this almost like angelic sound, if you will. But you can absolutely play it with a low G as well. It's just going to sound a little different. So if it sounds different, that may also be why. So that's going to be my inverted C chord. My inverted F chord is going to be starting with my C chord here with my index finger. I'm going to play it instead here with my index instead. 3rd fret of A. Then I'm going to reach my middle and my ring to the 5th fret of C and E respectively. Now this isn't a true F major chord. It's like an F-ish chord, right? It's got that high G drone in there as well. Because we're in the key of C and because we're going to be sandwiching this chord between C chords and G chords, we're going to leave that high G open there. It's going to give it kind of a neat, nuanced, suspended sound. So there's my inverted F chord. And then finally, we'll also use the inverted G7 chord, which is sort of like the original G7 chord, but stretched out a little bit up the neck. I'm going to move my index finger, keep it on the E string, move it to the 3rd fret, and then stretch that middle and ring to the 5th fret of C and A, respectively, right? So even though I'm playing 3 chords, I have 6 different shapes. I've got my standard C, F, and G7, and then I have my inverted C, F, and G7. Yeah, awesome. We're going to have some fun with this. So let's take a look at the chord patterns next. There's a verse pattern and a chorus pattern to be aware of. When we start the verse pattern, we're going to start every verse on 2 bars of F, just a standard F chord, to 2 bars of C. And then the second line, we're going to go back to F for 1 bar, circle around through G7 for a bar, back to C for 2 bars. Just to remind you of how this song goes, to hear how the lyrics fit in. They pave paradise, put up a parking lot, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. There's our verse pattern. When we get to the chorus, I'm going to take that C chord, invert it, jump it up to the 7th and 8th fret, and hold it out for 8 beats. Don't it always seem to go? That's 8 beats under those lyrics. Then I'm going to come down to my inverted F chord. That's the one again on the 3rd and 5th fret here. Index on the 3rd fret of A, middle and ring on the 5th fret of C and E. And I'm there for a bar and a half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 to C. And I'll just take my fingers off and leave that index finger there, because the next line, I'm again going to round through F, G7 back to C, but we're going to do it with our inverted chords here in the chorus. 1 bar of F, 1 bar of G7. Note that my middle finger stays where it is, and my index and my ring just trade strings. They even stay on the same frets for my G7. And then I'm going to either go back to my standard C here with my index finger or standard C with my ring finger. And I'll get into why you might choose to do one or the other in just a moment. But let's review that chorus again. So I come up to the inverted. Remember, that's on 7th and 8th fret. Don't it always seem to go to F? Don't know what you've got till it's gone. They pave paradise, put up a parking lot. Make sure you stretch those fingers out, otherwise they sound muted like mine just did. Right? So again, F for a bar, G7 for a bar, back to C for 2. before we go to the next verse pattern. All right, so that's the chord patterns you'll need to be aware of. Again, just 3 chords in general. I'm using the standard chords on the verse and then the inverted chords on the chorus. Let's add in the strum pattern and one more little teeny tiny chord to add to our fun here that we can't really add until we add in the strum pattern. That's why I waited for that. We're going to use the calypso strum. Down, down, up, down, up, ba, 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 ba. Find that groove. And the reason I wanted to wait is we've got a little vamp at the beginning of the song. And anytime you're sitting on that C chord for 2 bars, you can do this little vamp. What I'm doing is C, adding the index finger to the first fret of E, adding an F note essentially, so we get this sort of suspended chord here, something between a C chord and an F chord. And I'm putting that finger down on the up strum after 2. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and off, on, off, on, off, on. Yeah. So just get comfortable with that. You're welcome to throw that in there at the very beginning, in between verses, or anytime you're sitting on the C chord. All right, let's bring these chords and strum pattern together, playing through the verse now. Here we go to F for 2, back to C. Add that suspended chord if you want. Circle to F, around through G7, and back to C. Here comes the chorus up to C, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Inverted F, 1, 2 to C, back to F, inverted G7, and back to C. And this is where you might decide to go back to standard so you can throw that vamp in. All right, let's try it one more time with some words. They paved paradise, put up a parking lot with a cheap hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Get ready, up we go. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Yeah. Pause there for a moment. We just want to try that snippet there and a couple more notes. So you may have noticed that when I jumped up, I kind of paused my chording and strumming up here to give myself plenty of time to get up to that inverted C chord in time for the first beat, right? And a swinging hot spot, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Feel free to pause as soon as you need to give yourself time to get up to that inverted C chord. By all means, please do. The other thing you may have noticed when we had that split bar between the F back to C, I broke out of that calypso strum pattern and just did a standard, standard strum. So, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone, right? Because we really want to hear the chord changes there. So the first F is calypso, da, 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 1, 2, and C, 2, and back to the calypso. Yeah. And again, this vamp, I want to just reiterate, it's entirely optional. It sounds fun. It is great fun. But depending on what you're working on today, feel free to leave it out and come back and try it again later. There's a lot to take in here. Who knew you could have so much fun with 3 chords? I'm going to leave it there and let you practice through a little bit of what you've got. And then in the next video, I'll have just a play along where you would just dive right in. We sing and play through the whole thing, and you can put these new skills to work. Enjoy your practice in between, and I'll see you there.